Yo, it's postgame and it's preseason. I know y'all hype. Are y'all hype? I'm hype. Blake, how you feeling?
Hey, we got defensive stops tonight. That's all I need to hear.
That's all that matters. On that note, Ace!
Yo. Welcome to the show. I am your host. I walk around like number 11. I know I'm the GOAT. My chains, my rings on Matt Ryan, they coated in cold. I already killed the beat before I sat up and spoke. I'm here to close out the game. You sweep the dugout at best. I'm the realest. If real hopped off the page and showed in the flesh. No team jersey, but my city still on my chest. Trade from the 3. If I shoot, then it's all net. No time for you to rewind. You just in time. I'm a king. This king drum, so you know I'm in shine. I've been dope since 4 years after 1989. My pen work be out of this work, no pop flies. Not here to kill the game, just a competition. I'm Freddie Freeman on first, whoever pitching, I'm still getting it. I let the scoreboard tell us what the difference is. This is history in the making, you are witnessing. Shout out to the kid, you are tuned into the greatest. Rise up, kings, won't watch a king in the making.
Welcome to King's Realm. King is back, and I'm in full effect with postgame, yo. So, we lost, but it's okay. It's just the preseason. Who cares? But we got some things we're going to look at, and we're going to make sure chat booming right now. Thank you to everybody in the chat. We're going to talk about this preseason game. Nick, what up, homie? How you doing? I'm going to send you the link. Blake's gonna send you the link. Tab Sports Game is in the building. If you're new to the channel, like and subscribe to Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. Y'all know how I'm coming. Every post game, Falcons, Hawks, I'm gonna be here. And of course, I'm here with Blake. How you feeling, Blake?
Hey, it's been great. First 2 weeks of school has been a little busy, so I'm sorry that I haven't been able to get to do some baseball content out. But hey, we got some Falcons coverage tonight. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. So jumping into this Falcons coverage, thank you to everybody that's in the chat. We know you're going to give shout-outs at the end of the show. Thank you to everybody. What's up to everybody in the chat? First, I'm going to start off by saying this. I like what I seen, but at the end of the day, this offensive line is horrible. I know it's just the preseason. I know it's just the preseason, people. But this offensive line, if somebody gets hurt, is horrible. We got to find a way to make this offensive line a lot better, man. We got to. How'd you feel about the offense, Blake?
All I can say is I'm going to be so disappointed if our defense ends up being actually pretty good this year and the offense can't do anything because of the O-line. How annoying would that be, Falcons fans? If somehow, some way, the defense shows effort. I'm not saying top 10, but let's say the defense is at least competent this year, but the offense puts up 9 points a game because of the line. I don't know. I know that's a little bit drawn out there, but I'm going to be so disappointed if that's the truth.
Me too, man. Everybody was even me was giving AJ some slack in the first half. I was giving him some slack. But when you look at this offensive line, he didn't have no help from the offensive line. He didn't have no help from receivers getting separation. So it was just a bad day for A.J. McCarron. So I also gave him a little props and said maybe it's just first game jitters. Maybe it's just first game jitters for everybody. So I'm looking at it saying that. Exactly. Felipe came in and he gave a little spark, but we still didn't score no points. When I say score points, I mean touchdowns. So we did end up with 3. We got beat 23-3 by the Tennessee Titans. And like Blake was saying earlier, before we got on the live stream, who knows this offense better than the Tennessee Titans? Talk to us about it, Blake.
All right, so I want to give the credit to where it's due. I didn't come up with this statement. This is our guy, Don. I'm going to be honest. I'm taking credit from what he said. People that realize that think the offense was a problem tonight, yes, I think we all can agree. The offensive line does not look up to par, and I think we expect that. We get rid of Alex Mack. Caleb McGarry's still having problems. They're even younger than they seemingly were. There's going to be problems there. But the point that everybody, I think, is overreacting on is the offense itself. Mike Vrabel was breathing down the neck of Arthur Smith the last 2-3 years in Nashville. There's nobody on this 17-game schedule that knows Arthur Smith's game plan to the ability that Mike Vrabel does. We play one team in the AFC South this year. That's Jacksonville. Urban Meyer's the head coach down there now. It's not the guy they had before. I think the offense will be just fine. And then you gotta realize Lindstrom didn't play, Matthews didn't play, Hurst, Pitts, Ridley, Davis, Cordell, Gage. We're gonna be fine. Just saying.
If he's saying we're just going to be fine, I just want to make sure this offensive line is going to be fine. When it comes to that backup position, I know everybody was second string, third string guys. We had a few first string guys that was on the line, but everybody looked like turnstiles tonight, as Don would say. Shout out to Don. Everybody looked like turnstiles tonight. It was nobody on the offensive line I can say, hey, that guy could be a starter. Nobody on this offensive line looked good tonight. First game jitters. I know it's a preseason. I'm not overreacting. Blake, you overreacting?
How about the defense?
About the offensive line.
Oh, no. I think the offense will be just fine.
Exactly. So I'm feeling the same way. Offensive line will get better. We got a guy who's going to make these players better. Arthur Smith, a trade of the offensive line. So I am going to say this. The penalties have to go. So somebody need to run some laps. We was hype about him having Arthur Smith having this team run laps all through the offseason workouts. I need to see some laps ran on Monday. I need a few laps ran on Monday by everybody, defense and offense, because a lot of penalties were not unnecessary penalties. First snap of the game for the defense, even though the defense balled out, I'm going to give them their love later. But first snap of the game, you got somebody lining up in the neutral zone. Like, really? First snap of the game, you lining up in the neutral zone?
After that, they didn't give up a touchdown that drive.
Yes, that drive was pretty long.
Would have set the morale so low for the rest of the year. Knowing you got a whole new coaching staff, everything was a refresh start. Your division looks a little bit more up for grabs. Granted, the Bucs are still in our division, but more up for grabs than it was. In the first drive of the year, you give up a touchdown riddled with penalties. I'm just glad they forced the punt drive, that drive, because I know if Tennessee puts the ball in the end zone, there'd be a lot of problems.
It'd be a lot of problems, but how did they force that punt? We had
Jonathan
pressure from the defense. I loved it. The defense, switching to the defense, I'm not going to brag on the offense too much, but switching to the defense, balled out. This Dean Pease defense, like he said, we're going to blitz from everywhere. I seen a blitz from Richie Grant, who got the first two tackles of the game. So shout out to Richie Grant, a guy that I think should be starting, but he's probably not going to start. But shout out to everybody on the defense, especially a guy that I counted out last year because he was always injured, Marlon Davidson. Mm-hmm. He balled out today. He balled out. So even though one side of the line, speaking of offense, didn't play well, defensive line played well, and linebackers played well. Our linebackers are deep, like with a capital deep. Like
that's the unit I'm really confident.
These linebackers are nice. How'd you feel about this defense and how they played, Blake?
No, so speaking on your first of all, you guys see what Nightbot says. Make sure to drop your subs down below, whatever platform service you're on. Hey, we're getting FILA and the Atlanta Kid brand higher than what it is as of now. But getting to your first point, originally about the D-line, I liked it. A lot of the young guys, as you said, that weren't quite in that realm of, okay, it's now or never. Marlon Davidson, who was not as expected as he would be last year, had a couple big plays. Jonathan Bullard, who's been around the NFL the first couple of years. I saw him with my Gators in college. That dude is a baller. I'm glad he was able to get, I think, 2 sacks tonight. The 4th-round pick out of Notre Dame. Excuse me, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his name as of now. I'll get to know it later in the year. He had a couple big plays. The D-line looked great. Of course, I have no fear in the linebackers, and that's weird saying as a Falcons fan. But I think the Falcons' linebacker depth is exceptional, especially with the 2 cuts we had to make already with all-field issues. But, man, even the secondary was flying around making some plays. Granted, Tennessee did give him a couple gifts on coughing the ball up. But, yeah, Richie Grant made a couple nice plays. I'm still interested to see if Oliver and Sheffield can get it going. Harmon was all over the field. Like, man.
And like I said, I agree with you there. Hashtag Kings Realm. If you loving the channel, make sure y'all like and subscribe to Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. We got Blake here who's our professional baseball guy. We got Resurgent Spike, who's our professional Atlanta United guy. And, of course, we got Tyrone, who's our professional Georgia guy. And, of course, the Don, head of the castle, I should say. He's everything. You got your basketball, football, soccer. That's Don for you. So shout out to Don. And one more big shout out to Marlon Davison. Hey, that is true. We all can do a little something. I'm more basketball and football, but we all do a little something. So one big thing, your guy Felipe Frank came in and he kind of gave a stiff arm that was kind of the spark. And I know my Twitter is going to be jumping tomorrow about the Mike Vick, Felipe Frank. He had a bootleg run that got to a first down, but was called back because of offensive holding. So there's a lot of things Felipe Frank did. What did you like from Felipe Frank?
I'm going to be honest. I missed some of the Felipe portions. My mom had the remote, so she's a lawyer, right? So she was putting on murder documentaries back and forth. So I missed a couple of the Felipe plays, but From what I did miss, I got from our FILA messenger chats, the dude was a spark. I can't say that he's quote-unquote my guy. He gave me a lot of frustration at Florida, and I mean a lot. It's weird to say because I've met both AJ and Felipe Franks personally, so I can't really choose one over the other. But I think you remember what I tweeted at you after halftime, King. You said something along the lines about AJ McCarron, and I said if Felipe scores any points in the first half and or throws 0 interceptions, he will be QB2 next week. Compare the stats. AJ McCarron, first half, 0 points, 2 interceptions. Felipe might have only had 3 points, but he moved the ball, 0 interceptions. So it's just something he had a huge problem with in college. I do think I did see a little bit of that same issue I saw at Florida, where a couple of the checkdowns are a little inaccurate, a little bit too quick to judge. I think Matt Ryan will definitely help him with that, but his deep ball, you don't got to worry about that.
In fact, I agree with you all the way there. And AJ McCarron, speaking of checkdowns, missed a few checkdowns that could have saved him from getting sacked or throwing the ball away. He missed a few plays that should have been intentional grounding. He had, I think, one of those that should have been intentional grounding that they didn't call. But not to brag on AJ, I think AJ is still going to be quarterback 2. Felipe is going to make the practice squad. He's going to be our backup of backups. And I don't know how I feel about that's cool, Atlanta kid. I don't know how I feel about Felipe Franks. I've seen him in live action. In practice, he looks great. I've heard a lot of good things about him. And that corner that I heard a lot of good things about got beat for a touchdown. All you got to do is turn around. Turn around, brother. I just need you to turn around.
Now,
he got beat bad. Yes, that is true. I can agree, but he has to turn around. Get your head around, man. It's play the ball, not the man. I understand.
In college, you can face guard. That's what a lot of the rookie corners and secondary guys that aren't especially supposed to be that QB1 or CB1 or CB2 coming into college. Those mid-round guys that know they're going to fight for a roster spot. They live off those college rules. 2 feet, or excuse me, 1 foot in bounds. Face guarding. They got to get used to being able to swat the ball away. Or at least trying to make a play on the ball. Because just watching them catch it, what does that do? Nothing. So
it leads to a touchdown. And even though the Falcons got pretty much slapped today, but I was very impressed with this Dean Pease. I'm gonna keep harping on this. This Dean Pease defense this was your second and third string guys. Just imagine if this was your first string guys on defense.
And keep in mind how good the offense was last year. So
exactly. This offense, this defense is going to be good. Earlier in the week, we had a Tennessee Titan guy on, and he said this defense could be 18. If we're 18 and we can get this offense to at least 10, playoffs. I'm just going to let y'all know this off the rip. Playoffs. We haven't had a top 20 defense in how long? Yikes. Exactly. Shout out to Antonio. We ain't counting that one. Shout out to Antonio Holloway. I didn't know the first preseason game would tell you how the regular season would go. It doesn't. This first preseason game is just the first preseason game. I'm not overhyped. I'm just glad this team is back where it needs to be. This team, we're back at football. We will have an identity, and I can tell you that. We're going to blitz, like Dean P said, from every single position. We had a strong safety blitz from Richie Grant. It didn't get home, but it helped. We got 3 sacks in the preseason game. Let me know the last time we had 3 sacks in the preseason game. Matter of fact, let me know the last time we had 3 sacks in a game, period. Let me know. When was the last time we had 3 sacks in a game, period? Then we lost. Oh, remove myself. That's crazy. But let me know when the last time we had 3 sacks in a game, period. So I'm happy with this defense and how they played. This defense played well. And I'm really excited for what this Falcons season is. Even if we don't make the playoffs, we're going to be a new team in a new position.
All I know is this is the perfect time.
What do you think, Blake?
All I know is this is the perfect time to quote-unquote restart. The Saints, they clearly look like they're on the downfall. I know we might be saying that with a little bit of Falcon bias, but it's true. They lost a lot of money due to the COVID salary cap. Drew Brees retires. Sean Payton's getting older. Michael Thomas now all of a sudden doesn't want to play there. I might be saying this with a little bit of Falcons fan inside me, but that Saints team looks like they're on the down. At least for a couple of years. We know how the Saints are. They'll be back. But then you also got to think the Bucs, yes, they won the Super Bowl last year. You can't tell me, though, that team is going to stay up there for another 5 seasons. In my honest opinion, I feel like this is the perfect time for the Falcons to kind of restart and rebrand in some ways because it's going to be all up for grabs by the time this whole team is ready to go. But I want to make a point on what you said earlier. You said the Falcons may have got slapped tonight. You can't tell me, though, that this felt nothing along what old Falcons slappings usually are. This team seemed like it had some positive light.
Facts. I agree with you there, man. This team didn't feel like the Dan Quinn-led team. Never felt like that at all. This, like I keep harping on, this defense came out firing on all cylinders. We had a Jalen Hawkins sack, and he came up that middle like whoop, shot out of a cannon, man. And it was beautiful. All 3 sacks, it felt like, except for the first sack, that was really one of those pressures. This pressure stat by Thule Marriott. I forgot. I just ruined his name. Sorry. But yeah, you know who I'm talking about. The pressure sack that doesn't lead to nothing, but it was his pressure that helped get that sack. It wasn't covered sack. He pressured him. He rolled out, sack. Loved it. So Jake Thule Mariner. There you go. So I love the fact that everybody was around the ball. And when you got a defense where everybody's around the ball, unlike the Dan Quinn-less Falcons, when it felt like, even though we lost, it was just like a good loss. I don't know if that makes sense to some people, but it wasn't one of those we blew
up a 20-point lead or lost
and then we lost.
7,
yeah.
Had 27 rushing yards, 6 sacks given up to Matt Ryan.
Yeah, and I can tell you this. If the Falcons start their offense and start their starters on offense and then play their second string defense, we win this game. We win this game because the second string defense played well enough that I know Matt Ryan doesn't throw a pick when he has a check down by AJ McCarron. You know what I mean? So I know things Matt Ryan would do that would make this team a lot. We wouldn't have been having the same issues.
But you also got to look at if Tennessee has their first string. That is true. That is true. You can flip it and put it that way. So I'm excited. I can't wait to game 2 of the preseason because we don't have more starters play. But there's a lot to take away, but there's a little bit more to take away. I can tell you this. I agree with Tev Sports and Gaming. If first cuts are Monday, AJ McCarron gets cut. He gets cut, but he's probably not going to get cut. Let's not get our hopes up high. He's not going to get cut. Yeah, he'll be here. He's going to be, just because of experience, he's going to be QB2. Just because of experience, unless
Felipe Franks comes out here in the next few preseason games and balls out outrageously. He has to do something amazing.
I'm honestly hoping the Packers find some place where they feel like they don't need Benkert back, because I take that man back in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that and the way so few players I'm looking at, like shout out to Nathan Knight, who's balling, it seems like all of a sudden. Like, okay, so there's a few players the Falcons might make mistakes on, but I'm not holding that against them. They might make mistakes, like I think the Hawks made a mistake on Nathan Knight. I'm gonna be honest. I know this is not basketball, but
King, let's just hope this Kurt Benkert thing does not turn out to another Falcons quarterback that was lower in the depth chart and went to Green Bay.
We hope not. We hope not. Somebody we didn't see was Quadre Ollison. I'm over him, man.
That was surprising.
I'm over Quadre. I know a lot of people on this channel, Don, Tyrone, they're up on Quadre. I'm over him until I see him play. He's always got a yellow jersey on in training camp, and he didn't play today. I was shocked that I didn't see Kyle Pitts also. That was shocking to me. I know he's a rookie, but I don't care about you being a.
He was in uniform.
I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I need to see you play. I need to see you at least make a catch, make a block, do something. You're not Matt Ryan. You're not Calvin Ridley. You're not Grady Jarrett. Get out there. You play every preseason game. Like, you need all those reps. Because I don't want to see you making rookie mistakes, even though you are. But I don't want to see you making preseason rookie mistakes because you didn't play in the preseason. So I'm a little mad at Arthur Smith about that, about not playing Kyle Pitts at all. Even if you want to hold him back and you say, all right, let's get him out there and he plays 3 series and he blocks all 3 series. We don't even throw him the ball. Let me see what you can do when you block. Let me see what you can do in live action. I'm tired of seeing you in practice when you can't get hit and nobody's trying to take your head off. How'd you feel about Kyle Pitts?
I love Kyle Pitts. There's nothing more to that.
I feel you on that, Atlanta kid. So, the penalties really killed us this game. Penalties was a big hurt for us. It was big. Penalties took us out of this game, and it's probably the reason we lost this game. And I'm pretty sure Arthur Smith is going to let us know about it. And I hope to see somebody running some laps on Monday. I hope to see somebody running laps.
This game was special teams and interceptions. The defense gave up 16 of their 23 points, starting inside their side of the 50.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's not much. That's why I feel like the defense played better than it really did. Because, as I said, 16 of the 23 points they gave up, they already had their backs to the walls, and Tennessee needed 5 or 6 yards to be able to score some points, and they did. But I don't know. I don't think that's even worth an argument. We lost.
Yeah, a loss is a loss. It's the preseason. We're going to win one of these preseason games. I know that. We better win at least one of these preseason games. I'm trying to go into,
It's going to be a big test.
Yes, like especially for this offensive line. Yeah, I'm really worried. That's the only thing I got the big question mark on, and is that offensive line. Yikes. I know it was only the backups, but this offensive line scared me. You know, A.J. McCarron had no time at all to throw the ball, and it was one of those things. Yes, 10-plus penalties for 90-something yards. Yeah, it was bad. And if you look at it, we almost had more penalty yards than total yards. And I think we had more in the first half, more penalty yards than total offensive yards in the first half. Don't quote me on that, but I think we did. And blah, 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 blah. I'm a little rusty, y'all. Y'all know. Atlanta kid, you got the answers we're looking for. What answer is that?
All right, so I remember you said about 5 minutes ago, you said, when's the last time the Falcons had a top 20 defense? We're going back to the year 2017. The Falcons were ranked number 8. 8. Yikes. Is that even a number? 8. Ranked number 8 behind Philly, the Saxonville team, the Chiefs, The Chargers with the healthy Bosa, Ingram, Derwin was on the scene. And then, of course, the Steelers, TJ Watt broke out. The Saints, Chauncey Gardner, you know the names. And then, of course, Bill Belichick's Pats. Of course, that was the year that Sark came into the team.
Follow me on hold on, guy, gotcha. Follow me on at Kings Rum ATL, and I'll send you the link gladly, Nick. And I can send you the link. Just follow me at Kings Rum ATL, and I can send you the link so I can get how you feel about this Falcons preseason game. Game 1. Julio didn't travel. I know there's a lot of Falcons fans hoping to see Julio in the jersey, seeing Julio on the sideline, but he didn't travel. You know, he's probably hurt. Sorry.
Yeah, he probably hurt.
That was a little Falcon hate right there. Sorry. I never wish any player to be hurt. But he was probably hurt. No offense. But Felipe Franks, your guy, led the team in rushing, 4 carries, 76 yards. Caleb Huntley, 6 carries, 18 yards. AJ McCarron, 2 carries, 11 yards. Deontay Foreman, 3 carries, 10 yards. And Javen Hawkins, 5 carries, 2 yards. Also, AJ McCarron, 5 of 12, 36 yards, 1 interception. Felipe Franks, 2 of 9, 16 yards, no interceptions, but he only threw that many times. Ethan Ridge, 3 tackles for a loss. Richie Grant had 3 tackles. Ethan Ridge had 7 tackles total, so that's good. Jalen Hawkins had 2 tackles and plus that beautiful sack when he demolished that man. So this team, I like the way this team looks. Youngway Koo, of course, made his 2 free throws. I agree with you, Ultra Shadow. AJ McCarron had a bad game. I wouldn't say he is ass, but he did have a bad game. That's all I'm saying about that. So just to be sure, let me know, chat. How do y'all feel about this team, and what do y'all want to see them do better? Starting with you, Blake. What do you want to see this team do better?
So I told my mom going into tonight. I mean, she's been a fair weather Falcon fan the last couple of years. I mean, I think the reason's fair. I said to her, the 2 things I'm looking forward to tonight is, 1, we already established we didn't see, was Quadri Olison. I heard what Don was saying the other day, that he fits in the Arthur Smith scheme, and that's the reason they chose him over Ito, yada, yada, yada. So my offensive hopeful going into this game was seeing Quadri Olison in action, and defensively was to see the depth of that secondary play as a unit. That was a check mark. That I can check off the list. But what am I looking to see this team do better? Well, I think the most obvious one is the O-line's got to improve quick. I said a couple times already, I don't think it's going to be as good as we like ever during this point of the year, because I think we already understand what we're coming into. We lose Alex Mack, Jake Matthews, and Caleb McGarry are a little banged up. I don't think this O-line's ever going to be great. I think that's already established, but they got to improve to some point. You got to give Matt Ryan at least some time to throw the ball, right? And then defensively, I think it goes back to the players that are now or never. I got to see Isaiah Oliver got to get in there. He's got to make some good plays. Kendall Sheffield, Dante Fowler, those 3 guys specifically. I need to see them show them why they still need to be here. So that's what I need to see going into next week.
For me, I have to agree with you on everything you just said, plus offensive line play. Like you just said. Yeah, just like you just said, offensive line play. You gotta see more offensive line play. You gotta see more from it. Shout out to Zora in the building. Zach Wilson. Yeah, I rocks with it. You gotta see more offensive line play. I'm happy with everything I've seen from the defense, except for that 1 touchdown. Just get your head around. We got Nick in the building. What up, Nick? How you feeling?
How you doing tonight?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you feeling?
Kind of.
I'm feeling good. We got back.
You feeling the game? Okay, and since you was at the game, how are you feeling about this offensive line play in the game?
I feel like they should at least put the starters in the first half the first quarter to see how they play.
Yeah, they could have, but it's first preseason game. Nobody's really gonna. Arthur Smith is one of those guys. He's giving me that Bill Belichick vibe. I'm going to mute you here, Nick, because your mic's going a little staticky. But Arthur Smith is one of those like Bill Belichick-y kind of guys where he's not going to give you his full hand. So I understand why the starters didn't play. He did say the starters will play, or a sideline reporter said the starters will play more in the next game. So we'll see them in the next game. But for this game, I really didn't care if the starters didn't play or not. I really didn't care if the starters didn't play tonight. What did you like, Nick, from this game?
I like the defensive stops, how they did. I feel like once we start the regular season, our defense will step up some more. So I like how they play the defense.
And I think me and Blake both agree with you that if this defense, even if they played at this level, the entire season, and they was only giving up, I would say 17 points all season, we're good. We're good. We can score points, hopefully, if this offense makes their improvements and the offensive line makes their improvements. We can score the points. I'm not worried about this offense scoring points. At no point, as long as Matt Ryan is the quarterback, I'm not worried about this offense scoring points. Never. As long as Matt Ryan is the quarterback, not worried about it. But when it comes to other players, i.e. this offensive line, man, this is I gotta see better offensive line play.
All I gotta say is Mayfield and Dalman, they gotta grow up quick.
Yeah.
It sucks to say because the same thing happened to Lindstrom and McGarry. One grew up, and that was Lindstrom. The other one decided to play with his foot too much.
Yeah.
And that's McGarry. But hey, you got to be thrown to the wolves eventually. So.
Yeah. So, Nick, tell us about the atmosphere at the game. What was the atmosphere like at the game?
I missed that. What you say?
What was the atmosphere like at the game?
What's up, Atlanta Nation?
I feel like, it was the first preseason game. I feel like the atmosphere wasn't there yet.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Shout out to Atlanta Nation in the building. Ron Thomas, what's up? Shout out to you. Let us know in the chat how y'all felt about the first preseason game. We know McCarron had a bad game. We know this offensive line is horrible. Tell us something new. What else did you see from this Falcons team that you liked or you didn't like besides the offensive line play or besides the McCarron play in the first half? We got Felipe Frank. He played okay in the game. Didn't play too bad.
Who's that?
Blake saw football on TV, so he decided to watch. So shout out to him, whoever that is. Who's that guy?
I don't know. I think it helps that maybe the Braves got rained out and they're just now starting.
Shout out to Atlanta Nation in the building. Penalties hurt us in the defense build. Exactly. This defense came to play from the jump. I was a little nervous watching the first series because the Tennessee Titans had the ball for about 4 to 5 minutes. And I was like, yo, this is not looking good. And it started to show later on in the game where this team was a lot tired. They was a lot more tired than the Tennessee Titans defense. But I think that just comes with the 3 and outs that happened in the game. There was a few 3 and outs in the first 2 or 3 possessions, and the penalties didn't help at all. Yeah, but this offensive line didn't help at all. Ron Thomas, you can come on the show. We're probably about to get up out of here in the next 5 minutes. So we do a pregame, we do a post game after every Atlanta Falcons game. So follow me on Twitter here at Kings Realm ATL.
Follow
me
on
there.
Twitter. Here. Sports ATL.
Follow Newsom also. Also, you can follow the FILA Facebook. So follow them on Facebook, and we can definitely get you on the show, Ron Thomas. We love to have other people's opinion on the game. Always welcome to come on. Shout out to Anthony Jackson. Our special team finally gave us a spark. Yeah, you're right. You want to know why? Because Richie Grant season made the first tackle of the game. Y'all know I'm hype on Richie Grant, man. That's my guy. I hope he gets to start. He balled out. He had the first 2 tackles. Kind of didn't do much after that, but he got the first 2 tackles, and I was hyped.
Maybe that's because he was playing this starter snaps. They saw two early tackles, and they're like, "You're good."
Exactly. The team looked good. I mean, the uni and great. Yeah, I agree. The defense was perfectly in unison. It was just like a poetry in motion, like just a little poetry in motion thing. So I love the fact that the defense was in unison. Once again, offensive line play, man. Offensive line play. But before we get up out of here, Newsom, any last words before we get up out of here? Asia's in the building. What up, homie?
Any last words? Ooh, man, I haven't done this in a while. Again, Drew Dalman, Jack Mayfield, y'all gonna be thrown to the wolves. Hopefully, y'all decide to show it and prove it. Because I know this O-line isn't gonna be what we expect this year. I think it's given. You gave up Alex Mack, Lindstrom and Matthews aren't 100%. It's gonna happen, but I'm glad that this team has some light in it, because we've already said this does not feel like a DQ loss whatsoever. There wasn't 6 sacks given up, 23 rushing yards. Ridley's out for 3 weeks. We didn't blow a 20-point lead. None of that was in the building tonight. All I can say is football's back. The Falcons got some stops, and I got no homework this weekend. So,
that's always good when you don't have no homework this weekend. And shout out to me, because I ain't got no homework either, because I graduated. So
that'll be in me.
Had to throw that in there. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Y'all know how I do on King's Realm. Nick, shout out to you. Tell Sports and Gaming, shout out to you. Falcons for Life, G, shout out to you. Colton, shout out to you. Atlanta Kid, who was in the building, shout out to you. Knight in the building. Anthony Jackson, Falcon West, Lion Heart 128 1128. Shout out to you. Liquor with the Leonard, shout out to you. Night Boat, shout out to you. Ted Sports and Gaming, Marquis, shout out to you. Antonio, shout out to you. Zora, shout out to you. Jet suck. Sorry. Ron, shout out to you. Atlanta Nation was in the building. Shout out to you. Asia was in the building. Shout out to her. And shout out to Anthony Jackson. As y'all know, I'm King, And my final thoughts, I love what I seen from this Falcons team on defense. We got to get better on the offensive line. The offensive line play has to be a lot better. But it was second to third string. So I'm not stressing. Asia, you don't have to have the sad face. It's okay. It's only the first preseason game. And guess what? We didn't blow a lead, but we never had the lead. So it's okay. So shout out to everybody.
8 days. 8 days.
We'll see 8 days, and you'll see my face on Sunday because I will be giving you our notes. And on that note, hey!
Yo, welcome to the show. I am your host. I walk around like number 11. I know I'm the GOAT. My chains, my rings on Matt Ryan, they coated in cold. I already killed the beat before I sat up and spoke. I'm here to close out the game. You sweep the dugout and best. I'm the realest. If real hopped off the page and showed in the flesh. No team jersey, but my city still on my chest. Trade from the 3. If I shoot, then it's all net. No time for you to rewind. You just in time. I'm a king. This king drum, so you know I'm in shine. I've been dope since 4 years after 1989. My pen work be out of this work. No pop flies. Not here to kill the game, just a competition.